Hello there. My name is Campbell, and my presentation on my proposal topic for senior seminar is the reproductive issues of incarcerated women. There are roughly 328 million people within the United States. A little over half of them, exactly 50.8 of them, which equals 166 million of them, are female. From that 166 million, 216,000 women are incarcerated. That's just within our U.S. population alone. Though the United States currently holds 33% of the entire world's female incarceration population. That means the remaining 194 countries of the entire world hold the remaining 67%. Now, a woman is more likely to be incarcerated due to the fact that she's committed a property crime, more likely than a violent crime. But while she is being introduced to the incarceration system, she may not even know that she's pregnant at that time. So, pregnancy while incarcerated is still an option for her. Then there are possibilities of pregnancy even after she's gone a cycle within the incarceration system. One such situation may be through consensual relations, even though it is illegal. Whether it is for the idea of protection, whether it is just relationships or any other situation, still it is illegal though. Though unfortunately another option, which happens too often to female incarceration members, is the fact of sexual assault and rape. There may be children conceived through this, and unfortunately, the woman has to suffer through the trauma of carrying the child or unlikely to be able to have an abortion. Now, if a child is conceived and a pregnancy is confirmed within a woman who's incarcerated, there are two options for her to have. One option is to terminate the pregnancy, and then the other is to carry the child to term. Both of these options have their own cons and pros, just like any other choice. But for those who are incarcerated, specifically these women who are going through any trauma faced by rape or the fact that they're carrying a child while they're incarcerated, is a much different situation. As stated earlier, one of the options is to terminate the pregnancy. Whether this is by means of the healthcare systems, such as asking to be able to obtain one through the healthcare system that the incarceration system or the center itself has, which by many cases is not reliable. Some cases actually make the woman come up with their own funding, come up with the documents needed by judges or any other court system just in order to obtain the right to an abortion. Then some incarcerated women may even induce their own miscarriages by brewing herbal tea or even making fights in order for them to be injured to cause a miscarriage. And then, of course, some women may perform their own abortions using methods and instruments such as coat hangers or any other resource that they have available. Doing this can cause such health, life-threatening issues that the healthcare system that is for these incarcerated women, they're not able to handle it. The other option the woman has is to carry the child to term. As I stated earlier, the healthcare system for incarcerated women is very scarce and it does not have all of the resources that these women may need. For example, there's very, 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 very few prenatal care to be able to be provided for these women if they decide to have a child or decide to carry it to term. Then, as the pregnancy progresses, as the woman gets larger throughout her second and third trimester, the shackles that are being used can cause serious health issues to both the mother and the child. When the woman ends up going into labor, she is still shackled throughout the transportation to the hospital, no matter how long it may take for them to get there. Then once inside the hospital, she is still shackled. She is then chained, quite literally, to the hospital bed and handcuffed to the sides to make sure that she does not escape, even though she is in labor. Then, once after the child is born, she's not allowed to hold or see her own child. Very rarely are they even given any pain medication during childbirth. After the childbirth is done and the child is born, and it is very unlikely that the woman will see her child or be able to even take care of it, as there are very few, if not any, prison nurseries that are accessible to any mothers within prisons. Then there is the situation of custody. The woman may not have any family back where she is from, or the fact that the father is not suitable for caring for the child. And so many cases, mothers who give birth while they're incarcerated, their children end up becoming part of the foster care system. Now, I may understand that this may be a touchy subject for a few, but it still needs to be said. If a woman is not pregnant during that time and is not sexually assaulted or does not have any sexual relations, she will have a cycle. On average, menstrual cycles are 28 to 32 days, depending on the woman. It changes. It's different from woman to woman. Though, that means she should have products so that she can remain healthy and sanitary at the same time. But, unfortunately, there is very few or limited access to any products for a woman within the incarceration system. The government does not see any form of menstrual product deemed necessary. So, in order for a woman to obtain any menstrual products, she must buy it through the prison or the incarceration center's commissary. What if a woman does not have enough money or does not have any money at all? She will use what resources she has, such as socks or toilet paper rolled into the form of a tampon, and use it as such. Using these resources can cause serious infection and can cause many health issues, just as I stated earlier, if a woman were to perform her own abortion or induce any miscarriages. And then the healthcare provided for this, again, it's the same thing. It's very limited, very out of reach for these women. So, a woman who has a natural cycle will bleed for 5 to 7 days. And then if on average they have a medium, average, or heavy flow, they'll use maybe 3 tampons a day. So 3 tampons for a week is 21 tampons. On average, a box of tampons will only have 18, and a box costs $5 at the local Publix. A woman may not have access to $5, let alone buy another 2 boxes. That'll equal $10. These women don't have access to what we have now, and because the government doesn't deem them necessary, they're not given to them at free of charge. If any, they may not give them at all. The health care that incarcerated women receive is definitely not the best that it can be. There still is some good, but there's a lot that can be improved upon. I wanted to focus specifically around reproductive issues of incarcerated women, as a lot of times it's overlooked. It's not deemed necessary to the health world. But in this case, there's an issue and it can be helped, it can be solved, it can be made better. So, that's why I want to write this paper and explain my proposal to better the reproductive health care of incarcerated women.